What is going on, wrestling fans? It is WWE at Home 219 here with my WrestleMania 29 review from April 7, 2013. So let's get right into it with the pre-show matchup. It was Wade Barrett trying to defend his title against The Miz, and a very short matchup. There really wasn't much to it. The Miz would win the Intercontinental Championship with the figure four leg lock and defeat Wade Barrett. So I started off the night on my 1-0 my predictions. If you watched my predictions in the past video, this is where I'm going to be getting all my results from that. So I'm 1-0 going into the real match card. And in this Miz matchup, like I said, it was less than 4 minutes, I think. I'm going to give it there really wasn't much to it. I'll give it a D+. So that's not really a great start for the pre-show. First matchup I'm going to go into was Chris Jericho and Fandango. Now, granted, this wasn't the first matchup that actually happened here, but this is just what I'm going to review. I'm not going down the exact card. But in this Chris Jericho versus Fandango matchup, it was actually pretty good. I told people you haven't seen Fandango wrestle, so you can't even chant you can't wrestle and all that. He was getting a lot of heat for this. He actually put up a great fight, and he actually picked up the victory here over Chris Jericho in a matchup that I enjoyed. I thought it was pretty good. I'll give it a B minus here as Fandango defeats Chris Jericho in his first matchup in WWE TV. This was actually the first matchup of the night, and this is what I'm going to go over now, is Sheamus, Randy Orton, and The Big Show taking on The Shield. I was very surprised that this was the first matchup of the night, granted that these are three of your top faces, and this is just The Shield, who hasn't lost a matchup yet, and are very entertaining. Don't get why they put them first, but granted, it was first. It wasn't your typical Shield matchup where they were dominating. Granted, you're going against The Big Show, Sheamus, Randy Orton, and it's really hard to make an entertaining matchup with those a big guy like the Big Show, might I say. The Shield would end up picking up the victory though with a Roman Reigns spear. There's some pretty cool spots in this matchup. Nothing too exciting. I've seen the Shield's matchup at TLC was better than this, and I think their Elimination Chamber matchup was pretty cool as well. But this matchup, I'll give it a B minus just because the Shield can always put up a decent matchup, and they pretty much carried this matchup. So the next matchup here is Team Hell No taking on Dolph Ziggler and Big E Langston for the tag team titles. And in my predictions, I didn't have Fandango beating Jericho, so I was 1-for-1 there, but I did have the Shield beating those three baby faces, so I'm 2-1 going into this matchup for the tag team titles. And I would continue on to be 3-1 on my predictions as Team Hell No would defend their titles against Big E, Langston, and Dolph Ziggler. No surprise there. And it was a pretty even matchup. It wasn't that bad. I'll give it a C. So then the next matchup we got here is Mark Henry taking on Ryback. I honestly thought this was one of the matches that would be the most obvious for me to get right, but I ended up getting this wrong to make me 3-2 in my predictions, as Ryback would end up losing to Mark Henry in a very kind of slow-paced matchup. You're going to get a slow-paced matchup when you got two behemoths like these two going at it. Really wasn't a lot to this matchup. It was an average matchup that I'll give a C as we see Mark Henry defeat Ryback. And the next matchup we got here for the World Heavyweight Championship, Alberto Del Rio taking on Jack Swagger. Hopefully this is the ending to this feud. I picked I picked Alberto Del Rio to win this, and that he did. Alberto Del Rio would pick up the victory over Jack Swagger. And once again, another average matchup. I mean, it wasn't that exciting. I mean, for WrestleMania, I wasn't too impressed with the undercard tonight for WrestleMania 29, and the Swagger Del Rio matchup, I'll give a C+. Just an average matchup for an average, like you would expect that out of a pay-per-view, like not WrestleMania, but like I'm saying, maybe like No Way Out type of match or a Hell in a Cell type of match. It wasn't really that special. It just did what it had to do. So then the next matchup we got here, in my opinion, was the best matchup of the night, was Undertaker versus CM Punk. Awesome matchup, lots of reversals. It was a very heated matchup. There was a lot being built up. This is probably the best built up to match by the WWE as they incorporated that Paul Bearer storyline into this, which no offense to Paul Bearer, but it made the storyline even more epic. But I guarantee you that's what exactly he would want them to utilize his death as part of the storyline. Undertaker would pick up the victory against CM Punk with the Tombstone Pile Driver. Awesome matchup, and I'm easily going to give this an A, and it was the matchup of the night. So then the next matchup we're going to go into here is Brock Lesnar taking on Triple H in a no-holds-barred matchup with Triple H's career on the line. It was a pretty intense matchup. Brock Lesnar was in control early in this matchup. Triple H made some good comebacks. There's a lot of going between the Kimura lock and spine busting Triple H into the steel chairs. A very repetitive matchup that I honestly never got into. This was one of those matches where I kind of just sit back in my chair and I'm like, when's it gonna heat up? It wasn't really exciting. It was very predictable as Triple H would win with his finishing maneuver onto the stairs. And it was like I said, I was not into this matchup whatsoever, and I'm gonna give it a C minus. And I'm sorry if you disagree, that's your opinion. But like I said, I think following CM Punk and Undertaker was hard to do, and it just didn't do the job that it needed to do. Triple H's career continues as he defeats Brock Lesnar. So finally, the last matchup we got here. You all know the main event: John Cena taking on Rock for the WWE Championship. Um, Very anti-Cena crowd, might I say, but he is from Massachusetts, and this was a WrestleMania that was in New York. Might I say the New York crowd wasn't that great, especially for a WrestleMania. I think that was a very disappointing crowd. Not too many chants. They weren't really into every matches. Granted, they probably wasn't the greatest matches that they were putting out. They could have probably done better matches, but it's WrestleMania. I think the crowds should go all out as long as the superstars do. So this matchup was very slow at the beginning. I really was not excited from the beginning. It finally got to pick up. Lots of reversals, a lot of mimicking going on. People were stealing each other's moves. John Cena stole the Rock Bottom, and the Rock was mimicking the five knuckle shuffle. It was a pretty humorous matchup, and I wouldn't say humorous in like a ha ha funny way, but it was a very creative way to go about doing so. But John Cena would end up prevailing at WrestleMania 29 to defeat The Rock and become the new WWE Championship in a matchup that was pretty solid. I'll give it a B plus. WrestleMania altogether, it was kind of predictable. I was 6-2 on my predictions, and it wasn't great. Like I said, it wasn't. But last year's was better, definitely. I didn't get a review up for last year's because I didn't do reviews around this time. I started my YouTube channel late 2012 or mid 2012, might I say. But WrestleMania 29, I have to give it all in all a B minus. It was a solid pay per view, but for WrestleMania, I'm expecting more WWE. I don't think they did the best they could. I feel like there were some spots that they could have done better. They could have made a better match card, and they could have rearranged the matches in a better way. So tell me what you guys thought about WrestleMania 29 down below. Tell me how you like my review. Follow me on Twitter at Let's Talk _WWE. And if you're not already subscribed to my channel, give my channel a subscription and give this video a like as well. It means a lot to me, guys. I hope you enjoyed WrestleMania 29. And like I said, give me some comments down below and take it easy.